Welcome to week 52 of Scott's Week in Sports today, ladies and gentlemen.
1 year.
I am back with my dad, and it is time for some more top 10 predictions. I was telling you guys that we were going to do some more top 10 videos last week, and I am giving you guys what you guys want to see, and that is more top 10 videos. So today we're going over the top 10 football dynasties of all time. With the football season only 5 weeks out, we are very excited. And then we're also going to do a little bit of something different here on Scott's Week in Sports this week, because what a lot of you don't know is that I'm a huge reality television fan. I'm a huge Big Brother fan, so we're going to go over the top 10 Big Brother players of all time right after that. So hang tight and enjoy the show, and we'll kick it off right now.
So at number 10 in the top 10 NFL dynasties, for those of you that are in your 80s and 90s, all the way back to 1929 to 1944, the Green Bay Packers were the only team that are on this two different times. They won 6 championships between that time frame. So Green Bay Packers between 1929 and 1944 are the number 10 top 10 NFL dynasty. And number 9 is Scott.
Coming in at number 9 is the Washington Redskins, coming in from 1982 to 1991. 7 playoff appearances and 3 Super Bowl wins for the Washington Redskins. Had a nice 9 years for the Redskins over there. And yeah, I think that they could have another nice season this year over there in the NFC East. So back to my dad for number 8.
And number 8, this is actually Scott's best friend's best team. That's the Miami Dolphins. From 1970 to 1974, they're in the Super Bowl 3 times, and they have 2 Super Bowl championships, and they were the last undefeated NFL team of all time. So they come in at number 8.
Really? I never knew they were undefeated.
Your friend
I hear it every time. Coming in at number 7 is the Oakland Raiders from 1978 to 1983. 3 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl wins, and probably one of the most famous coaches of all time under the helm in John Madden. And for us youngsters like me, that is actually the inventor of the Madden video game. So thank you, John Madden, for giving us a bunch of years of great video games and great coaching as well for the Raiders.
For those of you who are new to the NFL, number 6 is going to come as a shock. Believe it or not, the Cleveland Browns actually were good at one point. Actually, all the way back to 1950 to 1955, they won 6 straight championship appearances, and they won 3 of those championships. And they had arguably the best running back of all time in Jim Brown. That's number 6.
Coming in at number 5 is America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, from 1991 to 1996. 3 Super Bowl appearances and 3 Super Bowl titles. They won their other 2 back in, I believe, the 80s or something like that. And they had probably the 3 of the best players in the NFL at that time: Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin. 3 of the best in Cowboy history on one team. Back to number 4.
So then you've got number 4. Arguably, I could make an argument they should be even higher. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1972 to 1979. When I was a kid growing up, this was my favorite team. They had 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 Super Bowl wins. You have Terry Bradshaw, who you all know from Fox these days. You had Lynn Swann, who's arguably one of the best wide receivers of all times, and Franco Harris, one of the best running backs of all times, and the Steel Curtain, one of the best defenses of all times. Number 4, Pittsburgh Steelers, great dynasty.
Coming in at number 3 is the Green Bay Packers, again from 1960 to 1967. 6 championship appearances and 6 championships. So they were a perfect 1,000 batting average over there from 60 to 67. And Vince Lombardi, probably one of the most decorated coaches of all time. And they named a trophy after this guy. When you win the Super Bowl, you win the Vince Lombardi trophy. So
that says it all.
So the Packers come in at number 3 with 6 championships in 6 years.
Now number 2, and this is a close one, is the San Francisco 49ers. They were pretty close to number 1, but not quite. But they had an unbelievable run from 1981 to 1994. Think about this. They made the playoffs 12 times in a 14-year span. They made the Super Bowl 5 times, and they won all 5 times. They won with 2 separate quarterbacks, in Joe Montana and Steve Young, and had the best wide receiver of all times in Jerry Rice. That is one heck of an organization.
And the Bucs gave him Steve Young for virtually nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shows you something.
Yep. Coming in at number 1, unfortunately, is the New England Patriots from 2001 to 2016. 7 Super Bowl appearances, 5 Super Bowl championships under the greatness that is Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And they won most of those Super Bowls with absolutely nothing. He's had no receivers and no running backs for basically every Super Bowl except a couple. So, yeah. In my opinion, they should have 6 championships, but, that's all right.
So now we are moving on to our top 10 Big Brother players of all time. And this is my list and Scott's list. There's a lot of lists out there, and we took some information from a lot of different lists, and we came up with our own top 10. And I'm going to let Scott start off with number 10.
Coming in at number 10 would be one of the hottest women to ever go into the Big Brother house. And that was Janelle Perzina representing Big Brother. I believe she was in Big Brother 6 and 7. She came in 3rd place both times out. Very impressive that she came back 2 straight seasons. Very impressive about that. And she also eliminated one of the best players in the history of Big Brother, who we'll be talking about a little bit later on, in Dr. Will. And she also was a competition beast. She has the most wins by any woman in the history of Big Brother in one season. Absolutely unbelievable, and her looks are pretty good as well.
All right, so number 9, and I can make an argument they should have been higher. That is Mr. Ian Terry, one of the most underrated Big Brother players in history. If you think about it, number 1, of course, he won his season. Number 2, he eliminated probably one of the top 5 Big Brother players of all times in Mike Boogie. And then number 3, he actually beat, I don't want to give you a spoiler here, but beat probably the number 1 player of all times in Dan Giesling in the finals. So that would be Ian Terry at number 9.
Number 8 coming in would be Rachel Riley. She had another very good year. Both times out, she did very, very well. First time around, she went out pretty early. I mean, who wouldn't want to get that girl out of the house early on in her season? How annoying she was back in that season. But then she comes back in Big Brother season 13 and comes back and wins it. And she was one half of one of the most infamous and known showmances in history with Brendan, they are now married. So Rachel, one half of Rachel comes in number 7. She had a very good run in Big Brother. Great player.
So number 7, another female player, and that is Jordan Lloyd. She won Big Brother season 11. She also was part of one of the biggest showmances with her and Jeff, who ended up being an interviewer for Big Brother many years later. She was nominated 4 times her season. Despite that fact, she still won, and won pretty dominant in fashion in a 5-2 win. That's Jordan Lloyd at number
Probably
7.
the most liked Big Brother winner of all time.
Good point.
She was America's darling that season. Nobody did not want her to win that season.
Good point.
Absolutely not. Coming in at number 6, just because he didn't win, I think this is why he's so far down the list. If he won 1 out of the 2 seasons, I think he'd be much higher. And that would be Paul Abrahamian from seasons 19 and 18. Did very, very well. First season, yes, he did deserve to lose season 18. He took the wrong person to the finale with him in Nicole. He should have easily brought James. There was no question in my mind he should have brought James that year. But last season, absolutely rocked. He should have won easy last year. If it wasn't for that bitter jury last year, I think he would have won with maybe 1 vote against him last year. But very good player. He was running the entire house last season. He should be a little bit higher on this list if he would have won, and I think he will be a little bit higher up once we get into the later seasons of Big Brother.
Good points, good points. All right, so number 5, probably the biggest, most successful villain in Big Brother history, and that would be, his first name says it, Evil Dick Donato. He was won Big Brother season 8. He actually participated with his daughter. They were on the outs, but in the Big Brother house they were able to work together some. But he was probably the best villain of all times and a winner, and that would be Mr. Evil Dick Donato.
And they came in 1 and 2 in their season.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Coming in at number 4, probably the guy that I would put in I think he's in the right spot here. It is very top heavy in the top 5. It's very top heavy. If you don't have those 5 in the top 5, I don't know if you are that big of a Big Brother fan. If you don't have those 5 in the top 5, But number 4 for me would be Mike Boogie. He had a great season. Season 2 absolutely comes in there and wins it. No, he went out pretty early in season 2, comes back season 7, wins it, and Big Brother All-Stars, comes back again, does pretty well his final season, and he got eliminated by, like we were saying, one of the best players, one of the most underrated players in Big Brother history, in Ian Terry. So yeah, Mike Boogie comes in at number 4, a very good player in the Big Brother community, one of the most decorated guys in Big Brother history, belongs to Mike Boogie at number 4.
And we picked him number 4 in part because he's one of the best names of all times, Mike Boogie. Who doesn't like that? Yeah. And then secondly, he won arguably the hardest season of all of them in Big Brother All-Stars with Dr. Will, and so he won that season. That's an impressive run. So then number 3, probably the biggest name in Big Brother history, and that's Dr. Will Kirby. He was I think the only doctor that's ever played. He was first place in season 2. All the ladies loved him, and then even in the All-Star season, he came in 4th place. So 2 really strong finishes. Really a smart player. Ended up using reverse psychology against a lot of the players, and was just outsmarted most of his opponents. Didn't win a lot of competitions, and despite that fact, was very successful. So at number 3, we have Dr. Will Kirby.
Coming in at number 2, the only cop to ever do very well in these things, that would be Mr. Daryl Lavasser, coming in at number 2. Had a very nice season. He had a very good season. I thought that he might have lost that season if against Cody, but it turned out to be a good thing for him, taking Cody, and he had a very nice season. He was not my pick to win going into the season. I was kind of voting for Frankie Grande to win that season, but unfortunately he went out pretty early, right in the middle of the season. So Derek had a great season. He actually played unbelievable. Probably the best season I've seen a lot of people play in the history of Big Brother back there. And yeah, so he deserves to be in the top 2, and he will definitely be remembered for a very, very, very long time.
And one of the reasons we picked Derek so high was he's the only Big Brother player in history never to go on the block, which is pretty amazing.
Absolutely unbelievable.
So yes. Now, number 1, there's a lot of dispute over this. Some people have Dr. Will, some people have Derek, but we have Dan Giesling in as number 1. If you think about Dan, first of all, first place in Big Brother 10. He was the only unanimous winner in Big Brother history. That's number 1, which is incredible. Number 2, he came in Big Brother 14 with a complete target on his back after being a winner and still finished in 2nd place. He actually faked his own funeral, which no one's ever done, which was completely brilliant. So we have to go with Dan Giesling with a number 1 and a number 2 finish and a unanimous win. Best player in Big Brother history.
And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekly Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week with another top 10 video. Probably doing running backs and wide receivers, top 10, who we think are going to finish in the top 10 next season. And I will see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Weekly Sports right here on YouTube. Always like, subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Weekly Sports right here on YouTube. See you later, guys. Have a great week.
See you guys.